What's going on, everybody? KingofDragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the SH Figuarts Dragon Ball Z Captain Ginyu. And so here we do have Captain Ginyu Pose and out of the packaging. Before we take a look at the figure, let's actually run through his accessories really fast. Captain Ginyu does come with 4 different facial expressions. We do get the grinning expression, which he comes out of the package with. We do get a shocked expression, which does look really nice. We do get a yelling expression, which again looks really good. And then we also do get one where he's looking off to the side, gritting his teeth like he's in pain. We also get 5 sets of hands. We do get a pair of fists. We get a pair of clinching hands. We get a pair of key blasting hands. We do get a pair of pointer finger hands. Then we get a pair of Ginyu style pose hands. We also do get the 4-star Namekian Dragon Ball, as well as 2 pieces of chest armor. We do have one where it's clean, and then one where he just mortally wounded himself, which all these accessories do look really nice. I am happy that Ginyu comes with them. Surprisingly enough, we don't get a neutral expression on Ginyu, and the Scouter has to be interchanged between all the heads, which is a little bit disappointing. So there is that. But anyway, with his accessories out of the way, guys, let's actually take a closer look at Captain Ginyu. And so here we do have a closer look at Captain Ginyu. Now, I think Bandai has done a fantastic job with this figure, although, unfortunately, mine does have a couple quality control issues, especially with loose joints. It's probably just my figure. I haven't seen other figures with this problem, so more than likely, it's just my version of Captain Ginyu. Yours probably doesn't have all these issues that mine has. But anyway, taking a look at the figure, really digging this head sculpt. It's probably the best Captain Ginyu head sculpt that we've seen. Looks really good. I love the expression on it. He's just smirking, cocky, the way you'd imagine Captain Ginyu being. We do have his Scouter, which is done exceptionally well. I do like the way it looks. You can see how much detailing went on it. Speaking of detail, look at the details on his cranium here. It looks like his brain is ready to pop out of his head. Which Captain Ginyu is a really smart guy if you really think about it. He might not seem like it, but he is very intelligent. Really do like the black gloss for his horns. That's a really nice contrast versus the rest of his head here. So we do get a really good contrast between his horns and his head. They could have easily just made everything matte, but we do have a somewhat semi-gloss right here for his horns and then a matte finish for his face. One thing that does bother me is his neck. You look at the detailing on his face and his chest. They're kind of smooth. They don't have too much texturing detail going around them. But then you get to his neck, and his neck has a lot of muscular detailing going throughout it. All the images of Captain Ginyu I saw, he doesn't have that much detailing on his neck, so I have no idea why Bandai did it. And it is a really stark contrast when you see how much detailing is going around his neck versus right here on his face, and then his chest here. It is very noticeable, and it doesn't help that the neck seems to be a different color than the torso and the head here. It is a little bit of something you can notice, but under the right lights, it's one of those that you're not going to be bothered by it. Having a look at his armor, I like the design of the armor. Don't get me wrong, it's a really cool design, but why did they go with this particular design? I have no idea. So what I mean by that is we had the perfect armor design when it came to the Dragon Ball Super Broly, where the shoulders were a separate piece that moved with the shoulder pad, so everything moved fluidly. With Captain Ginyu here, they kind of took 4 steps back and they made these swivel hinges for his armor, and it's not good. Honestly, they could have done so much more. And one problem I do have is that they don't peg in all too well. You see how small that peg is? Moving it around, you will more than likely pop it out because you can see it's starting to come out of that peg hole. So yeah, they could have engineered this so much better. I don't know why they went back to this terrible design. It looks nice like this, but it doesn't function like moving. That's as far as his arm goes, because it catches the armor, and to bring it out, so yeah, I much rather them stick with that design from Broly and just have the entire shoulder and chest piece one hinge that comes out, and then the shoulder pad is on a ball joint in the back. It's really really infuriating why they went back when it came to the armor design. But anyway, the armor does have a really nice sheen versus the rest of his body. I do appreciate that they did that. At least it's not really black. It's like a navy blue. Looks really good. And then they did have the brown parts, this flat plastic, which again, that looks really nice. Really do like the coloring on it. The paint is clean, looks really good. His gauntlets are done exceptionally well, so I do like that. You can see they continue that navy blue gloss with a flat white. So overall that looks good. Then we get some shiny trunks. He's wearing some latex Speedos right there. And then again, the armor is nicely painted. We have this really nice flat coat. Going on to his legs, we do have a little bit of sheen right here with his knees because they are made of a different type of plastic versus the rest of his legs, but it still isn't jarring enough for me to say it's a bad figure. Again, we get that really nice contrast in his boots versus the sheen and the matte finish. So everything on him just looks good. He looks and feels like a premium figure. Now, unfortunately, like I said, mine does have some quality control issues, which we will get into in a little bit. But for now, let's actually just get them compared to other figures you may have in your collection. And so here we have Captain Ginyu Pose next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and a DC Multiverse Superman. Here we have Captain Ginyu Pose next to a WWE Elite Scale figure and a Mezco 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. Here we have Captain Ginyu Pose next to a Lightning Collection White Ranger and a Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian. And finally, here we have Captain Ginyu Pose next to an SH Figuarts Goku and an SH Figuarts Rat-Stayed Broly. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually move on to his articulation, and that's pretty much where the start of the quality control on my figure comes with. He does have a double ball joint here in the head, but unfortunately, the head on mine comes off really easy. Like, it doesn't want to sit tight on the head. Like, I can hold them upside down and it doesn't fall off, but it doesn't take much effort to pull them off. And I have taken a look at it. I've tried forcing the head down. It's still relatively loose, which is unfortunate, but we do have a really nice range here in the head. You can see, really love that head tilt. We do get left and right rotation, but if you turn it too much, you will pop his head off. Now, that's probably just on mine because of how loose the head is. As you can see, it just pops off really easy. Yours might not have that issue, and we actually can have him pop his own head off, unfortunately. But anyway, he does appear to have a ball joint here at the neck, and it works really well. The only thing is, it gets really gappy. You can see it moves really good. That's one of the best neck joints I've seen on an SH Figuarts figure. And unfortunately, they did have to make it that gappy for it to move as well as it does. So you do have to take some good with some bad. Good range, but then you have that gap. His armor is on swivel hinges, which they do hinge up and down. And unfortunately, like I said, they are on these really shallow pegs. So if you try moving them too much, they do pop out really easy. So do be aware of that they do hinge up and they do swivel a little bit, but swiveling them does make them wiggle out of that peg. So do be extremely careful with those. Now, he does have a butterfly joint, but it's really hindered by his chest armor. And let me try to show you right here. He does have this really good butterfly joint, which does pop out about that far. Now, unfortunately, if you have his shoulder in neutral, his shoulder will always butt up against his chest piece right here. The way they did it on Broly is that this part was cut out and it moved together. Unfortunately for Captain Ginyu, they kept the aesthetic clean, so when you try to move this, it butts up against his chest plate. And it's the same thing with the back armor. You can see it's not as drastic, but it does butt up against itself, so that is unfortunate. Now on mine, this, you can see, doesn't hold any weight. That butterfly joint doesn't work on mine. It's just floppy. So that's a little bit unfortunate. And you can see it's supposed to hold weight. See? So on mine, that butterfly joint being as loose as it is really doesn't help with posing. And then you get the shoulder with a butting into the shoulder pad. It's just really, really bad, honestly. But the arms do go out to the side really nicely. In fact, they go past 90 degrees. They do have a ball joint which do pivot up and down, forward and back, and then we get that butterfly joint, which again, it should be functional, but the way it's designed, it's not as functional as you would imagine it. If they had just rounded this off and kept it not as pointy right there, it would have worked much better, and we'd have a perfect butterfly joint there. Arms do go all the way around, no problem, so I do like that. We do have a bicep swivel, double bend here at the elbow, giving us much better than 90 degrees, despite the fact he's a beefy dude. We only have a ball joint here at the wrist, so it does function really well, does go in and out, up and down, but again, it's just a single ball joint, so take it that as you will. It functions normally, swivels, pivots, so good job there. Really do like his abdomen articulation here. Now you can see he gets a really, really deep crunch, which looks really good for those Ginyu style poses, and you can see he does pose really nicely for Ginyu style poses. Unfortunately, going back doesn't go as far as you would like it, and we do get some really nice pivot here. A little tight, but it does work. It does rotate, but you can hear that clicking, never a good sound, and I've actually knocked it out of alignment, unfortunately. I'll have to heat him up and see if I can align him in a little bit. We do have another ball joint. I think it's just a ball joint. Doesn't feel like a ball hinge right here at his abdomen, which does swivel, but again, really tight joint. And with these, we have that same issue that they're a very shallow peg, and they do move around, so they have a tendency to pop themselves out. Now, they do get in the way of articulation. You can see going out to the side, that's as far as it goes. Even without, you can see, I don't know what it is. There's just something about Ginyu that his left leg doesn't want to go out as far as the right leg, and I can't seem to figure out what it is. It's not the way it's positioned, but yeah. But okay, so this is where I have another issue with mine. The right leg is fairly loose compared to the left leg, which you can hear that squeaking. Does move perfectly fine. Then we do have a very loose thigh swivel on mine. You can see this one isn't as loose. It's actually fairly tight. So yeah, loose joint, not as loose. Very loose on this side. Double bend at the knee does give us pretty good range. And I believe he has a ball joint here at the ankle. It's actually a double ball joint, so we have a barbell joint going back, so we can pivot the foot back, can pivot the foot forward, angle it down and up. We do have some really nice rocker ankle. It does swivel, and then we have a very generous toe hinge. So overall, Captain Ginyu here has some pretty good articulation spots, questionable articulation spots, and bad articulation spots, just depending on how you have them situated. And on mine, he has some issues, but overall still a really nice figure. And what we're going to do now is actually get him into a proper Ginyu pose, and then we'll wrap up this review, guys. And so here we have Captain Ginyu Pose and out of the packaging. Overall, I think Bandai has done a pretty decent job with this figure, and I'll say decent job at that, because there are some things that they could have done so much better, and we've seen them do better on older figures. I have no idea why they went back to this really old style of articulation for the armor when we had that really great Broly from the Dragon Ball Super movie. It just boggles my mind that we didn't get that kind of armor movement with this figure, and it's so archaic. It breaks up the sculpt so much. You can get him in poses pretty nicely, but the armor will always get in the way. Now, I think they could have alleviated that by giving us those hinges on his side plates. If they were attached a little bit higher, that would have made it so much easier to pose. And then his shoulder armor could have been done exactly like Broly. I have no idea why they didn't do it. I think they wanted to keep the sculpt on the chest looking as bulky as it was, and unfortunately that did cost this figure some points in terms of aesthetics. Now, I'm not saying this is a bad figure by any stretch of the imagination. You can still get him in some great Ginyu style poses. It's just a little bit of a shame that he does suffer from design, because they did go back to this really old armor design, and it does show, and it does hurt this figure just a little bit. Now, Captain Ginyu here is a regular release for Bandai Tamashii Nation, so if you are looking for Ginyu, you can still pick him up on websites like Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, and other third-party websites. Now, I do wonder why Captain Ginyu here was the only member of the Ginyu Force that came as a worldwide release. Every other member is going to be a premium Bandai figure, which is a little bit odd, especially because all of them come with the Dragon Balls. I don't know what the mindset is here. Maybe they're just promoting their website, but Captain Ginyu here is still a very good figure, and he does pose really well if you don't have quality control issues like I do. With that being said, guys, I'm KingofDragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go check out all my other action figure reviews as well as all my other Dragon Ball videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it's in my collection, I'll definitely have a look at it. While you're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos. And as always, ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.